Hello, YouTube. Being here from the bedroom, you guitar junkie with this and my Epiphone Alex Lifeson signature guitar. Yeah. Yeah. And that's how it's meant to play. Man, I was struggling, I have to admit. I'm almost positive these are 10s. They feel like 11s. The springs on here, you know, I'm going to have to change. They're super, super stiff. And trying to get it to bend, I almost have to grab the guitar and do that. Trying to do it with my shoulder. It's hard. And then the flutter, you know, isn't that much, you know, of a long flutter, or some guys call it cricketing. I don't know where that came from. But yeah, it was dealing with the 10 gauge strings, dealing with the tremolo that's stiff as can be, and trying to remember the solo as I've done it before. And luckily I pulled it out this time. I tried playing it yesterday and the day before, and I was struggling with the beginning, how the beginning starts, the intro. That, again, I need the song to motivate me. That part. I was working on that, trying to remember how that goes. And then I'm doing the solo, and I'm like, I'm leaving something out of the solo. What am I leaving out? You know, I remembered. Then I remember doing that in between, and then the, you know, third stone kind of rip off, and using the Vibrolux pedal along with it, and then remembering when I run up with it in the neck position, holding down on it so it goes faster, and then going down to the bridge, and then letting it go, turning it off, kind of thing. You know, mind, hand, fingers, foot, and then the wah. You know, it's like drumming. That's probably why I was good at drumming. Well, I did start playing the drums when I was 7, before I started playing the guitar at 8. 7.5-ish, I think it was. So, yeah, and you could see I go to my bag of tricks, what I call it, my toolbox, and I do a lot of little licks here and there that I repeat, you know. But the finger thing is going every third, you know, kind of thing, and then here the same thing. Now on some parts I do. Wait, I do. That's no. I forget. I have to play it with the song. Sometimes I'll do like something like that. I think. I'm not sure. I you know, I don't even remember what song I did that on with the gain on. But I do that a lot too. So I use a lot of my tricks, you know, over and over again. But again, I'll try to use the whammy bar, the wiggle stick, the shifter, the tremolo. I still hate when I see guys saying tremola. It drives me nuts. Like when someone says literally and it's literally. I mean, just a little shit like that just drives me up a wall. But yeah, it's things that I'll do, and then I'll use the wah-wah pedal and just try to make it sound a little bit different. But again, with my limited, you know, ability to play, with only 3 lessons under my belt and not knowing what the hell I'm doing, still, you know, I make stuff up, and if it sounds good and I hear it back, you know, I hone in on it, and I practice it, and I try to remember it. But like I was saying, you know, in another video. I don't know if I posted it or if I deleted it because I didn't like it. Because if it sounds all right while I'm playing, and then I play it back on my TV, and I was like, oh, that was terrible because I have surround sound. I could really hear every note articulate. It's gone. If I'm playing it and it's bad, and I just didn't like what I was playing, it's gone. I just, you'll never see it. I delete it immediately. But so yeah, I was going through my standard 20 to 40, which is only 20, backing tracks that I play every day. And I was like, I posted a video about guys that learn so much about the guitar itself, working on it, tuning it, setting it up, cleaning and polishing the frets, and how to dress it, and how to rewire pickups, and all this other stuff. And when they play, they're terrible. They're still like, and a couple of them I follow, a couple of them I've known for a while. But if, and it's not to be mean to them, but if they spent more time playing and less time, here's my 150th guitar that I got, and then here's how I worked on it and when I did it, and here's, now I'll play something. Well, then if you spent the amount of time playing it every day rather than working on it, that's my point, I don't like working on the guitars. I know how to set up a guitar, restring it, and dealing with a Floyd Rose. When it comes to changing the tuners, I could handle that. That's about it. If I need pickups done, wiring, something with the knobs, anything else, I have someone else do it. And I've got friends that are professional musicians, and they're like, I could FaceTime you and I could talk you through it. I'm like, I don't even have a soldering gun. I don't even want to be, I don't like changing strings. I'm never going to pay for someone to do it when I could do it myself. Now they charge like what, $50 or more just to restring and set up a guitar. If it's got a Floyd too, I know that unless they really know how to work the Floyd, I have it set up my way. I know if they do it because I've had work done on guitars where they changed the pickups and they had to remove the strings, and then they tried tuning it back up and just screwed up the entire setup. And then I have to reset it all. Sometimes I got to set the neck. But most of the times I got to go to the back and I got to reset the springs and the tremolo and, the claw, the whole bit. So yeah, I pulled this baby out. I still love it. It's great for what it is. Again, the Agiles, if they only made a 22 fret Les Paul with a Floyd Rose ebony fingerboard, and then even like, this has a contour here. They have them where the other models, the 24 frets on neck through. I would have one of those instead. But for Epiphone, the best, cheapest thing to a Gibson Les Paul with a Floyd Rose is the Alex Lifeson Epiphone. You can't find anything else, and I haven't seen really another Epiphone with a Floyd Rose. I'm sure they came out with it for like a year or two, maybe somewhere. I don't know, but I've never found one used on Guitar Center's used gear. And this thing popped up and it said open box, and it was the price of a used one, and it was like brand new. The box did come to me. It was opened for the first time because I bought open box guitars before from companies, and the seal wasn't even cut on it. This one, the original seal was cut on the box, but everything else was immaculate. It still had the paper around the strings. It still had everything on it. The little sponge, styrofoam thing around here had all the paperwork. It came in the case. It came with everything you need, all the parts and everything else. So for the used price, I got really a brand new guitar that they said was an open box. And it's better than buying something used for the same amount of money. You know, you spend $7, $8, $8.50 for a guitar, and you don't even get the original case that you know it was sold with. You don't get the parts, the tools that it comes with, you know, anything like that. And it's sometimes it's used and abused. Sometimes it's a keeper, but you got to clean it up and set it up with a new set of strings. This one, again, right out of the box. I'm just waiting for these strings to get bad. It's been sitting out since I got it, and the strings are still good, but they feel, I know they're 10s, but it feels like 11s, because when you bend on a 10 gauge string with a Floyd Rose, to give you an idea here. You hear how, so the whole bridge moves. So with the low E, you hear the low E going down. That's better than having a hardtail. It gives you a little bit more flexibility on the strings. So that's why some guys that have Floyd Roses stick with 10 gauge strings, because you could still bend. I want 9 gauge. I want it easier. I'm not asking for 8s and I'm not asking for 7s, you know, like Billy Gibbons and B.B. King, but 9s are just my sweet spot. And they gotta be nickel wound. They gotta be pure nickel wound, because they last longer. So enough talking, 20 minutes. So sorry it's so long. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and a better tomorrow. And I doubt this is gonna work. So I have to turn it off, turn it back on again, and say adios amigos.